I want to talk today about self-improvement and a growth mindset. And I'm going to keep this a little short today. I have a little bit of a raspy throat, but I'm here all the same. And so thanks for joining me, you guys. My name is Linnea. We're going to talk today about what it really means to dig into a growth mindset and 9 practical tips to help you kind of foster that mindset and just really kind of easy to implement ways that you can consistently work towards whatever type of self-improvement you are working towards. So you can really apply this to anything in your life, whether it's learning a foreign language or working out more frequently or brushing your teeth more often or anything else under the sun. Okay, so let's just jump in. I want to go over these 9 tips, and there's kind of a bunch, right? Because 9 is kind of a lot of different ideas. As I'm recording this, right, it's January 2nd, so we're stepping into the new year. This is applicable for any time of year, but especially right now, there tends to be a lot of focus on kind of setting yourself up for success in the year to come, kind of switching gears away from the holidays and into a little bit more your own routines and things like this. It really is, like, aside from all of the hype about like New Year's resolutions, this really is a beautiful time when you're coming back into your routines, you're settling back into your normal flow. It's a great time to just give a little extra attention to what those routines and habits really look like. So let's jump in. Okay, so the first practical tip I have for you guys is to think about your morning routine. Right? What does your morning routine look like? What do you do before you have to leave the house or follow your other commitments? Like, what do you do in the morning that's just for yourself that helps you foster kind of that energy of self-improvement or putting a little bit of time into something that you're working on for yourself? So for example, for me, I've been just the past month or two getting into Duolingo and learning Spanish a little bit more, which has been really fun. So that's kind of started to be part of my morning routine, is just spending even like 10, maybe 15 minutes, sometimes even less than that. So what's your morning routine? What's something small that you could add to your morning routine that would help you kind of chip away at one of these goals that you might have for yourself? And then tip number 2, it could be part of your morning routine, it could go somewhere else, but to think of these things in 15-minute increments, right? What could you do in just 15, maybe even just 10 minutes, right? We tend to kind of create a bigger expectation for ourselves and think that we need to have a full hour or that we're gonna dig into something and put all of our energy into it. But what if you could just spend 10 or 15 minutes working on that thing? Tip number 3 is, who's the company that you keep, right? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Who are the people that you are vibing off of, right? Like, our energy is collective, even though we're all autonomous individuals. We also aren't, actually, as much as we sometimes like to think we are, right? And so the company that we keep can have a really direct impact on what we think is possible, the energy that we have around how much trust and belief we think we have towards those goals, right? And just sort of this spirit of going out and doing it, going out and getting it, resourcing yourself, connecting yourself with other people, other institutions, things like that. You really want to seek out those people that are going to inspire you to, you know, find the institution that you need to be connected with, or find the resource, or connect you with that other person. And that's easier said than done, right? It doesn't mean that you don't hang out with people that don't do that for you, but it's just an invitation for you to kind of look at your community, and especially the people that you really bring in closest to what your hopes and dreams are, right? Who are those people that you kind of tell your deepest desires to, and how do they respond to that? Like, are they really lifting you up and supporting you, or could you maybe use a little bit more support in that department? Tip number 4 is to read a book. And as I was writing that, I was like, reading a book, for me, it's probably listening to a book, right? I love to listen to audiobooks. So read, watch, or listen to a book or some other kind of resource, but really specifically a book. And even if you can actually sit down and read a physical paper book, you know, I know there's statistics out there that knowledge sinks in deeper when we actually read a book instead of just listening to it. But also, if you've been out of the habit of reading books, then listening to books is a really good way to get back into that. And you know, if you sit a lot, then listening to books might also be a really nice way to be a little bit more active in those periods of your day when you don't have to be sitting. Tip number 4 is to create systems. This kind of goes back to the morning routine, because a routine is kind of a system. But what kind of systems can you create that are going to help just kind of automate the process of self-development and personal growth for you, right? It's easy right now at the beginning of the year to have all this inspiration to, you know, create all these new goals for ourselves. And then it's so common come February or March that we've completely forgotten about them, right? So how can you create systems in your daily life that are gonna kind of streamline and automate this process so that you just kind of consistently come back to this work that you want to do? Tip number 6 is learn about learning. Learn about yourself, learn about how you learn, and really be honest with yourself. Are you somebody that's super disorganized and really struggles to stay accountable to yourself? Like, if that's true, then probably you just telling yourself that you're gonna do this thing is really unlikely to work. And so you just be totally honest and compassionate with yourself about the way that you learn and what you need. What do you need to be able to actually make progress and take action towards these things that you want to see in your life, right? So whatever that might be, it could be different for everybody, but spending a little bit of time really being honest with yourself about your unique learning style, your unique needs, your unique circumstance and situation, so that you can then kind of reverse engineer the system that's going to help you out. Tip number 7, my friends, is to keep a journal. And so, you know, that's just the idea is right there, just keep a journal. For some of you, you might not already do that, and so just the idea of getting a journal and trying to write in it might be a great goal for the year ahead. And then for those of you who already do have a journal and some kind of journaling practice, I have a few other tips for you. You might have heard of the morning pages, right, from The Artist's Way. And I've never actually read the book The Artist's Way. That's kind of on my radar maybe for this year. But I do really consistently do morning pages, which is that you just write 3 pages. It could be whatever it is. You don't have any plan for it. You just write. But you do try to hold yourself accountable to getting 3 whole pages written most days, is what I do. And then the other idea for you guys is specific journaling prompts. So that's also something I've been working with recently. Is I kind of created a list of 5 different journaling prompts to ask myself. And I've been trying to do those on a somewhat regular basis. Cool, we're getting through it. We have 2 more tips. Tip number 8 is to hire a professional. It took me so long to wrap my head around this one. It really did, right? That could be a million different things, right? It could be hiring a personal trainer. It could be hiring a therapist. It could be hiring a business coach. It could be hiring a life coach. It could be finding a naturopathic doctor. It could be going to an acupuncturist or a body worker, or, you know, any other slew of professionals that it could be. It could be hiring a personal stylist. Like, what is your goal? And what do, you know, if there's really a gap between your ability to know what you need to do in order to reach that goal, right? If you're here and your goal is over here and you have no idea how you're going to get to that goal, then hiring a professional who's already walked that path is going to be so insanely helpful. It's going to speed up the process. It's going to make you actually believe that it's possible. It's going to mean that it's actually possible instead of this kind of like lofty fantasy that you would like to see happen. But if you're honest with yourself, you don't really believe that it's ever going to happen because you have no idea how to get there, and so it seems totally unrealistic. Like, and then if also your whole community, the people that you're closest with, if they also don't know how to get there, then my friends, you need to have somebody that knows the way, right? You need a guide, you need a mentor. Like, that is a perfect time to hire a professional. Okay, and grand finale, number 9, is to look back and keep track. It's so easy for time to pass. Time goes so fast, and it's so easy to all of a sudden be like, well, here we are in January 2025, right? Like, oh, oops, the whole year just went by. So what are you doing to kind of, mark time and keep track of time passing? Of course, it's always this dance and this evolution, and things change and time passes. Like, that's always going to be part of the dance of life. But the more that you can consistently check back in with your goals, check back in with your intentions, rewrite them as they change so that you can just like really clearly and cleanly and efficiently transition if the goal changes, or also pull yourself back, right? Like, if you get distracted and you lose sight of your goal, but then you come back to it and you're like, no, this is the goal. This is what I still want to be working towards. Like, the more consistently that you can do that, the easier it's going to be to build momentum and to build confidence, right? That you're actually getting there. So what are you doing to look back and remember what you're even trying to work towards, right? How are you keeping track of that? How are you coming back to yourself to look back at your goals, or look back at your journal, or have some visual thing in your environment that you see that reminds you of this? So, oh my gosh, that is all 9 tips. I'm so glad you guys have been listening to this whole tutorial, and I'm so excited for the year ahead. I can't wait to continue this conversation and to provide you with more and more value. And there's so many things that are coming from Limber Arts to all of you in the year ahead, so I can't wait to begin announcing some of those things. One thing that I'll start to mention here is that I'm going to be, I think we're starting this in February, so not quite in January yet, but coming up pretty soon here, I'm going to be starting a monthly movement lab. This is going to happen online, so it's easy to participate no matter where you are in the world, and it's going to be really focused on self-awareness and restorative healing movement. There's definitely going to be some elements of strength training, but it's very much in the lens of getting more connected with your body, respecting your body, learning with your body, and then coming into a place of more resiliency and power and strength with your own self. So keep your eye out on that, and I will see you guys next time. Bye for now.